This summer, I took the most incredible road trip of my life in a car that most people wouldn't consider for such a long drive, a Porsche 911. We covered 6,500 miles over 16 days, but the memories were absolutely priceless. In this video, I'll show you the ups and downs of that trip and give you a glimpse into the heart of America that many people miss. And if you're planning to do Route 66, I'll have some tips and some must-see places to stop.
See, my dad used to always talk about driving Route 66. He liked cars. He drove a Miata, and when I was a kid, he had a Pontiac GTO. But I don't think it was about the cars for him. It was more about the adventure. He and my mom loved to travel, and so I think the idea of exploring Route 66 resonated with him. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2024, so he never got to take that trip. Since he was from Pennsylvania and his sisters and relatives still mostly lived around there, we thought it'd be nice to do a celebration of life for him there, rather than make everyone fly out to his home in California. And that's when the idea of doing Route 66 came in. I mentioned it to my brother, who immediately thought it would be something that Dad would want us to do. So this drive is a tribute in honor of him. And in fact, we've brought along his ashes to bury with his family in Pennsylvania when we arrive.
All right, I think we're in good shape. Plenty of space, right? How are you feeling about this?
It's gonna be cozy.
It's gonna be an adventure. All right, so about to do Route 66 drive, probably the longest drive that I have ever done in my life. Should be about 2,500 miles each way. Can we fit it all in? Plenty of space. Plenty of space. Look at this. No problem.
Once we decided to do this, I immediately knew I wanted to do it in a fun car. I daily drive this 911 and have taken it on some road trips before, so I knew it'd be up to the task. But my brother was a little skeptical. It has enough cargo space, it gets decent gas mileage, it's modern enough to have good air conditioning, and it has a pretty comfortable ride. It even has ventilated, air-conditioned seats, all of which I knew would be important for a trip like this. And I always say miles equal smiles, so I'm not afraid of adding to the odometer reading on this car. Plus, since I'll probably only drive Route 66 once in my life, I wanted to get some pictures of the 911 in cool places. And the truth is, everything is just more interesting when you're in a sports car, even the boring, mundane stuff. You kind of never know who you're going to meet, and the car is sort of like an icebreaker for that.
What the hell is that?
Got the V-dub power.
Westy. Woohoo!
Dude, he's just chilling in there.
Yeah.
Our first day of the trip is basically heading down the center of California, a drive I've done a million times. Our goal is to get to Kingman, Arizona, which is a little over 600 miles. This is a pretty boring drive, and we'd planned for it to be the longest driving day in terms of mileage because, one, we were fresh and we knew we had the stamina for clocking more miles early in the trip, and two, we live in California, so we'd seen most of the stuff here and we didn't need to stop and explore. An interesting thing happened though when we stopped at the Harris Ranch for a quick bathroom break. There was a Porsche Macan in the parking lot, but there was something a little bit weird about it, like it had some wires and stuff on the exterior. Turns out it was two Porsche engineers doing some testing with the car. They said they were going to be on the road for 3 months and that they'd done the drive we were planning to Pennsylvania in just 3 days. Man, what a neat job.
First meal of the trip, gotta go for some In-N-Out.
How's that burger?
Good spot.
This was our first stop for gas in Barstow, California. We probably could have gone further, but we were thinking that we were entering the Mojave Desert and figured that gas stations might start to get a little sparse. Barstow was sketchy though. One guy complimented the car at the gas station, but in general, the town just gave me kind of a creepy vibe. Turns out, I found out later, it's on the top 20 list of most dangerous cities in California. Just outside Barstow, here we found our first signs for historic Route 66. Now, Route 66 goes to Santa Monica near Los Angeles, but we didn't hit that stretch, so this was our first exposure to the Mother Road. Of course, we had to stop for a couple of pictures.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Route 66 parallels Interstate 40 for some sections, and then it diverges away from 40, sometimes 10 or more miles. It's a lot like what they describe in the Pixar Cars movie.
Look, and they're driving right by. They don't even know what they're missing.
Well, it didn't used to be that way. Yeah. 40 years ago, that interstate down there didn't exist. Cars didn't drive on it to make great time. They drove on it to have a great time.
The big interstate was built, it bypassed all these little towns, and as a result, the businesses in those towns suffered. We went through places named Siberia, Baghdad, and Amboy. Some of them you would blink and you'd miss the town. There literally was nothing for miles. But there's also been a lot of renewed interest in Route 66, so some of the bigger of the small towns actually are thriving. Amboy had an interesting volcanic crater that we stopped at. We were the only ones there, and it was 111 degrees Fahrenheit. The highest temperature we saw on this stretch was actually 118. But honestly, the Porsche 911 didn't seem to care at all. It was happy just cruising along with no issue. So thank you to the Porsche engineers for winning so many grueling Le Mans races and proving the durability and reliability of these cars. By the time we got to Kingman, it was pretty late. We checked into the Hampton Inn and finally saw another sports car, a C8 Corvette, in the parking lot. I wonder if he was also doing Route 66. Next stop, Gallup, New Mexico, and hopefully some more interesting scenery. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the trip.
Here we are on day 2 of the Route 66 road trip, and we're going to stop in a bunch of the small towns that were the inspiration for the Pixar movie Cars. I told you that my dad always wanted to drive Route 66, but he passed away before he had a chance. Now, I'm not really religious or anything, but I think that there must be something along Route 66 that Dad wanted us to see. So, as we explore a bunch of the small towns, we are always on the lookout for connections to Dad, finding little things that he would have appreciated. One thing that we felt for sure we had to see, even though it wasn't along Route 66, was the Grand Canyon. But being there in the vastness of it had more of a spiritual impact than I expected.
All right, day 2 of our road trip, Route 66. We're back on 66, and I think today it's actually going to be a little bit more interesting. It seems like there's some cooler spots along the route. So we're going to head out to the Grand Canyon. So that's sort of like our main destination for today, and then we'll see what we see along the way. You excited for it?
It's 100 degrees out.
It's already 100. It's like
It's 8:50 a.m.
it is hot here, very hot.
We immediately got on Route 66 today, and the first interesting place we encountered was Antares Point, home of Giganticus Heticus. This place had some old cars out front, a sticker board, and some Route 66 signage, but the shop actually wasn't open. There was a little motel basically attached to it, and we briefly chatted with 2 guys who were repairing their car in the parking lot. After that, we continued down the road a bit and came to Hackberry and their general store. Now this place was cool. Tons of stickers on the walls, old gas pumps, old signs, cool mobile Pegasus on the front. The 911 was right at home with its little Pegasus stickers on the front fenders. Inside the store was a treat as well. It just had tons of old-timey stuff that my dad would have loved. We bought some stickers and some other Route 66 stuff there. Now, this place was the first true Route 66 vibes of the trip.
Oh, whoa. She's so cool. Oh, they got Route 66 license plate frames.
Next stop is Seligman, Arizona, and we popped into the Roadkill Cafe, which was mentioned in another one of the Route 66 YouTube videos that I watched. It wasn't really time to eat, so we just kind of went in for a quick look around. The main street of Seligman, though, was super cool. A lot of Route 66 tourist shops, old gas stations turned into souvenir places, and lots of vintage stuff. My dad loved garage sales, and I can imagine he would have enjoyed rummaging through all the knickknacks in these stores. There were even tour buses stopping there and dropping off loads of people. We checked out the barbershop of this guy named Angel, who basically helped set up the Route 66 revival. He got a bunch of business owners to band together and establish kind of a coalition to make Route 66 a tourist attraction and bring back business to these small towns. He's kind of like the grandfather of Route 66. Williams, Arizona was our next stop. And you know, with all these stops, you'd think we wouldn't make any progress, and you would actually be right. But we wanted to see what we could see, and after kind of a boring first day, we were pretty thrilled by even the smallest attractions on Route 66. Williams, though, was like straight out of the Cars movie. Super quaint little downtown, lots of old shops and stores, just like from a bygone era. We grabbed lunch here, and it's also the gateway to the Grand Canyons, so it seems like they get a lot more tourists. Grand Canyon Airport, Plains of Fame Air Museum.
All right, we're almost to the Grand Canyon. Never been there before. Should be interesting, right?
We're at the entrance gate. It's $35.
At least it's not super backed up. I mean, it's like a handful of cars.
Yeah.
It's not like going to Yosemite or somewhere.
They also have
Okay, yeah. I was not prepared for like the scale of this.
Photos cannot capture the enormity of the Grand Canyon. It just fills your vision from edge to edge. It makes you feel so tiny and so insignificant in the world. And it's astonishing to think this is from millions of years of erosion. That's a long time, and with that context, our lives are so short, so we really have to make the most of them while we can. And I think this was the lesson I was meant to understand visiting the Grand Canyon.
No drones. Why are they so anti-drone? Probably people lose them down there.
Rather than backtrack down Highway 64 to Williams, we headed east on 64 to connect to 89 South and then rejoin Interstate 40 and Route 66. Time was already getting away from us, but we wanted to stop at the ghost town Two Guns, which Drew had read about in a guidebook, and it turned out to be really cool. I might do a separate video comparing the recommendations from ChatGPT versus the guidebook. Basically, Two Guns is the ruins of some old stone buildings with some interesting history dating back to a massacre in the Apache Death Cave and the use of the property as a zoo. Also, there's a burned out gas station where we took some photos. Definitely a cool spot to stop if you're passing through the area.
More like ruins over here. But like another structure. It's probably over here. Actually, well, yeah, down here, look, there's another window. Navajo Death Cave at Two Guns.
Now, it's getting late, but we heard about this Meteor Crater, so we decided to check that out. Sadly, it was closed when we arrived, but the place was pretty unusual because it's literally in the middle of nowhere, but then you go down this road and there's this fancy, huge visitor center that seems entirely out of place. It's probably an alien research center or something weird like that, but whatever it is, it definitely seemed like they want to protect and maybe study the crater. There was no way to even get a glimpse of the Meteor Crater without going through that visitor center, which was locked up tight. I guess if a meteor lands on your property, you're going to try to protect and monetize that the best way possible. And clearly they're doing pretty well if they were able to afford to build this elaborate visitor center. And that wrapped up day 2. We did about 500 miles and we're getting almost 32 miles per gallon in the 911. We'll see if we can beat that on any of the subsequent days. Gallup, New Mexico. We're learning that Route 66 will always throw you off schedule, so today we actually set a target. On the road by 8 a.m. because we had a lot of miles to cover. We missed that by about 30 minutes, but we're learning to find a balance between pushing the mileage and soaking up these side quests.
All right, we're on day 3. Back in the car, getting very, one benefit of being in a very small car is everything is very easy to reach within the car. You don't have to stop and get out. You can just reach back here, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, get in your cooler. Small cars are great. We had another stay at a Hampton Inn. But tonight we're going to be in a different spot. We're heading to Amarillo, Texas. So we'll be going across pretty much all of New Mexico today. I think today we're going to be on Highway 40 a whole bunch. Stopping off, trying to get off at some more of the historic Route 66 where we can. Left at Albuquerque.
I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
New Mexico is about nothingness. As far as you can see, in every direction, it's just empty land. No farming, no ranching. Kind of makes you wonder what sustains life out here. We actually were curious about where they get their water because we hadn't seen any rivers or any lakes or anything like that. So we looked it up, and turns out it is mostly groundwater. And driving the 911 through this vastness, it felt small but utterly capable. A little capsule to transport us through this endless nothingness. Speaking of capable, the 911 is delivering numbers I didn't think were possible. 35 miles per gallon. Think about that, a sports car that is getting hybrid level gas mileage. We're easily getting 500 to 550 miles per tank. It's incredible what a naturally aspirated engine can do even at cruising speed. The only issue, the bug buildup on the front of the car is officially out of control. Luckily, being a white car, it still looks pretty clean in the photos. And aside from cleaning the windshield, I am not going to wash it until I get home. We took some time for iconic photo ops today. Old garages, weathered neon signs, the drive-through Route 66 sign in Grants. You really have to slow down and appreciate the history. And a quick little spot of an R8 on a transporter was a nice high-performance nod on the road. Albuquerque, though, was kind of just a quick pass-through. We saw the quirky spaceship house, but the historic district felt, well, like a little sketchy. Lots of homelessness, tweakers, and just kind of a weird vibe that kept us from stopping. We tried to take a walk down by the Rio Grande River, but sometimes you have to abandon the side quest and just get back to the mission. Albuquerque did have some cool murals on the sides of buildings, and this was actually a common theme throughout a lot of historic Route 66. These murals were amazing, and it's cool that someone paid and took the time to put these up. Finally seeing some different elevation and not just flat desert. You're gonna fireworks everywhere. Artillery shells. Sign on the sign.
It's cool. Got a cool sign out front.
The highlight of New Mexico was the urban exploration that we did in Tucumcari. We found a sketchy abandoned gas station and motel complex. I love abandoned places, so I was pretty stoked to be able to explore this. It was fire damaged, covered in graffiti, and just filled with junk.
Oh, man.
Kind of sparks your imagination. How does a place get this way? Who owns this piece of Route 66 history? We loved taking a look around this urban decay.
I feel like this is the one that they were at in the video.
Man, these ones are like totally freaking burned out. Whoa. Look at all these chairs. This is where like somebody stuck all the furniture in here.
So if you're going and doing a trip like this on Route 66, definitely take the time, stop, explore some abandoned places, take some photos, see what is going on there. That's definitely been one of the more interesting things we've done.
Sadly, the New Mexico Route 66 Museum was closed by the time we got there. But right next to it was a relic of the past, a Radio Shack. Now, when was the last time you saw a Radio Shack? These things were definitely a staple of my youth.
Okay, here's an update. We've been driving all day from Gallup, New Mexico. We drove all the way through the state of New Mexico, and now we've just hit Texas on our way to Amarillo. And honestly, everything looks the same. It's all flat. I guess there's windmills now, so that's pretty cool.
Crossing into Texas, the road surface immediately changed from asphalt to concrete. A tiny detail, but for a car enthusiast, it changes the feel of the drive. Even 10 minutes from Amarillo, it's still nothing but empty horizon. Then you get to Amarillo, and suddenly it's a proper city. Big buildings, a cool, hip downtown. It was a jarring change from the New Mexico wilderness. That night ended perfectly. Dinner with my best friend Ryan and his family. They happened to be doing their own road trip, so it was a total coincidence that we were both staying in Amarillo on the same night. Good morning, Texas. The 911 continues to perform flawlessly. And we're still making time for the icons. Now, last night we were rushing to meet friends, so we had to backtrack about 10 miles this morning to check off the most famous stop in Amarillo, Cadillac Ranch. It's a rite of passage, and seeing the 10 Cadillacs buried nose first in the mud is surreal.
Here we are, Cadillac Ranch. Looks like people had a lot of leftover spray paint, so they like to spray paint the road and the wall as well. Thank you.
It started as an art installation, but has evolved into kind of a crowdsourced tribute to spray paint. Look at the wheels. The spray paint layers are so thick that they've completely changed the shape of many of the parts on these cars.
The thickness of this paint is just like crazy. Look at how much paint is just on here. Just dripping ink. I mean, there's a tire under there somewhere. No tire on this one.
We found some partly used cans and added our own tags to the monument, but I'm sure they'll be covered up within a week by the next set of visitors. I guess that's kind of the point. This is ever-changing art. Now, leaving the caddies, we spotted some high-speed Porsche Solidarity, a Cayman with the iconic 917 hippie graphics. Always cool to see one of the family out there. And this is one of the few Porsches that we've even seen on the road trip so far. As it turned out, the Porsche parade was within a few days of me passing through Oklahoma, but I totally missed it. Epic fail on my part. And then it was the next Texas landmark, Buc-ee's. After 600 miles of seeing billboards, we had to stop. Over 75 gas pumps, a convenience store the size of a Costco, and critically for the 911, cheap 93 octane gas. We were filling up and stocking up. Now this place is a marvel of efficiency and scale. The food, the sheer volume of snacks, and seriously, the size and cleanliness of the bathrooms are unbelievable. And when you're racking up 5,000 miles, a great bathroom stop is a major highlight. But they literally have everything you could possibly need, not just for a road trip, but everything.
And they have good prices, $243, $257, and $281. This is the cheapest we're getting, and it's 93 octane. Oh. This is the ultimate 7-Eleven truck stop spot. Brisket sandwich. What were they chanting? Working that meat out on that cutting board. This place is insane. Literally have clothing. They got jerky. They got food. They got desserts. They got fuel jugs. Whatever you need. Probably have guns and ammo here too, I would imagine. Got Buc-ee's swimsuits. Lots of Buc-ee's swimsuits. Yeah. Nice. So many gas pumps here. Very cool old service station here. Texaco station. The Barbed Wire Museum. Never thought I'd see such a thing, and so much history about barbed wire.
Leaving Buc-ee's, we went deep into Texas history at the Devil's Rope Museum in McLean. It sounds bizarre, a museum dedicated to barbed wire, but this wire is literally what tamed the American West. It's a fascinating look at the engineering and the social impact of fencing tools. And I've always been curious, when the government builds a new interstate highway, do they put up the fencing to keep cows off of the road, or do the ranchers have to do that themselves? If you know the answer to that, let me know in the comments.
The Burma Shave signs. Sinclair Dino Juice.
We crossed into Oklahoma, and our immersion in the Mother Road continued at the Oklahoma Route 66 Museum. This museum is a goldmine of vintage cars, old neon signs, and tourism history of the road. It helps you appreciate how many dreams and lives were tied to this stretch of asphalt. And honestly, of all the different places that we stopped, this was definitely a highlight, and I would highly recommend checking out this particular Route 66 museum, and it's what was recommended in the book as being the best of all the Route 66 museums. The Bridgeport Bridge is known as one of the most pretentious engineering projects ever undertaken by the Oklahoma Highway Commission, and when it was completed in 1933, it was the longest bridge in Oklahoma. At the time, it was somewhat of an engineering marvel. Now, you can't come to El Reno and not get the legendary onion burger from Sid's Diner. This is a Depression-era recipe. They used cheap onions to bulk up the expensive meat that people couldn't afford during the Depression. You can watch them smash these paper-thin onions right into the patty on the griddle. It was the perfect, greasy Route 66 dinner, and it was cheap too. A burger was just $4.50, and it was amazing. The place has gotten sort of famous from being featured in some TV shows, and they have a map with pins showing where all their visitors are from. Now, this was one of those things that we learned from the Route 66 guidebook that ChatGPT and Gemini both failed to tell us about. In fact, that was kind of a common theme of the trip. The itinerary that ChatGPT gave us didn't cover a lot of these hidden hole-in-the-wall gems like Sid's Onion Burgers. So if you're doing a trip like this, definitely buy the book. The mood shifted as we drove into Oklahoma City. We made a little detour to the Oklahoma City National Memorial. It's a beautifully designed, incredibly moving place. The field of empty chairs representing each life lost is a powerful tribute to that horrific day when Timothy McVeigh bombed the building. Texas and Oklahoma both delivered incredible history, from the Barbed Wire Museum to the Oklahoma City Memorial. We finally made it to Tulsa, checked into our hotel, and called it a night.
Turn right, then you will arrive at Route 66 Historical Village.
Oh, this is cool. The train and stuff. This is it.
You have arrived at Route 66 Historical Village.
We're the only ones here at 9:13 in the morning because in Tulsa, everybody's at church on a Sunday morning. So we're hanging out. We're going to check out some cool stuff.
We started our day in Tulsa at the Route 66 Historical Village. They had a recreation of one of the old gas stations, an impressive steam train, the Frisco Comet, and an oil drilling thing. Apparently, Tulsa is the oil capital of the world, which I found surprising, thinking that Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or maybe Russia or something would be bigger. But a Google search confirmed that the US does produce more oil than all of those other places. Now, I loved the scale of the Frisco Meteor steam engine. It was a behemoth that once ran the St. Louis to Oklahoma City line. And it was here that we met a guy from Japan who mentioned he owns a 911 and he was driving Route 66 also. He was doing it solo. He said he rented a car in New York City and was headed to California. The Mother Road truly is worldwide.
Yeah, it's actually where to go in that right there.
Route 66 Neon Sign Park is on the left.
Guess not. Can't really stop. I think it's okay. Route 66 bridge. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's the founder guy.
Go and check that out. Go over here. Go. Is it? People jogging, hanging out. Maybe
architecture is super interesting.
We then stopped at the Cyrus Avery Centennial Plaza, which honors the father of Route 66. The centerpiece is this East meets West statue, a beautiful bronze depiction of the Model T startling a horse-drawn wagon. It perfectly captures that moment in time when America shifted from real horsepower to automotive horsepower, an absolute revolution that Route 66 drove.
This was actually the original Route 66 bridge, as you can see. Has the memorial on it, and clearly not being used anymore. Got a new bridge to the right, that's the freeway, and a newer bridge to the left, which is still Route 66 here. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Dude, this is like Church Row, look. 1, 2, 3,
Synagogue,
4.
that one must be.
Yeah, synagogue probably for that one.
And then,
Oh yeah, look at even other neon signs here. Meadow, gold, ice cream.
oh, it's got a clock on it.
It does have a clock. Statue guy.
Statue lady.
Yeah, dude, this is really cool. And everybody has a neon sign. Neon signs everywhere. This ain't my first rodeo. Oh, that is cool, yeah. Dude, in Tulsa, everybody's got neon signs. Even the church has a neon sign, which is too cool. I love it. Open carry here, apparently, in Oklahoma.
The stop sign. Turn left onto South Greenwood Avenue. Then you will arrive at Black Wall Street.
Next was a somber but necessary visit to the Greenwood district, historically known as Black Wall Street. Visiting the memorials for the 1921 race massacre is essential. It is a powerful reminder that Route 66 runs through deep, sometimes painful American history, and that the history of the Mother Road often intersects with pivotal social moments.
The murals in Tulsa also are amazing.
I actually hadn't been too aware of the history of Black Wall Street or the massacre, but a coworker from Oklahoma recommended checking it out. And I'm glad he did, because it was definitely a highlight of the trip. Ironically, a few weeks prior to this trip, I'd heard about the approval of $105 million in reparations granted by the city of Tulsa. If you're like me and you're not familiar with this part of American history, I'd highly recommend checking out some of the videos on YouTube about it.
This is Greenwood, but there's a freaking dumpster in front of the sign. Not cool. But what?
Seems like it's temporary.
Yeah, it's like they're just remodeling or whatever. This is an awesome part of the Tulsa, though. This is really cool down here. It's for lease. We could buy it. I could set up a cool car club there. Good roll-up doors. Lots of space. Looks like leaded windows because they're all weirdly distorted. They got their neon signs. Really impressed with the neon sign game here in Tulsa. America's Main Street. Oh yeah, it's got all the states of Route 66. Look at that view. Oklahoma's nice. Do we dare? Do we dare go into the Route 66 secret underground lair?
Dude, going underneath.
Whoa, cool. The Mother Road.
This is where I want to be. Fire Creek Bridge.
Fire Creek Bridge. Chelsea, this is where we're at right now, right?
Chelsea, yeah.
The Sears house.
It's hilarious. Did it.
This little town is downtown Chelsea, which is apparently the home of Oklahoma's first oil well. Oh, look, did you read what that placard over there said?
Yeah, it's dedicated to war veterans.
Oh, war
This park
veterans.
is dedicated to war veterans from Chelsea
Nice.
that have lost their...
Cool little park right downtown here.
It was just dedicated in like 2019 or something. Not that long ago.
Yeah, so like stuff's still going on in Chelsea. Fixing
Dude,
it
the
up.
CNC roofing place has got a
Yeah,
sweet SVT Raptor.
yeah. Awesome Raptor. This building was super cool. Glad somebody's preserving this.
Yeah.
Putting a new interior in it. Looks like they got new windows already.
Yeah.
Another dispensary. You know, if you need some pot, Route 66 is for sure the place to go.
Take the next left onto East
I don't think it's
Excelsior
a
Avenue,
GTO.
then turn left
I think
onto
it's
South
a
Main Street.
Falcon. Comet.
In
I think
300
it's a
feet,
Comet.
turn right onto South Scraper Street.
That's some old
At the
Mustangs,
stop
though.
sign, turn right onto South Scraper
Oh,
Street.
might be a GTO in the back.
Dude, out of nowhere, just sudden downpour of rain right before we get to... And now it's gonna get sunny again.
Commerce. Oh, look at this old tractor. Commerce, Mickey Mantle's hometown. What are we gonna see? Yeah, where is it? Is this it? Oh, cool.
101 South Main Street is on the right.
Get gas.
Yeah, let's get some gas. Oh, this place is cool. Another great mural. Some old gas pumps. Yeah, stop here. Let's go out and get a photo. This is awesome.
There's a cool one across the street too.
This is actually the real gas station. The one across the street is fake. It was never a gas station. That little building was there, but it never sold gas. And this one, the Dairy King, has been here for 100 years. So this is the authentic thing. We got a really cool tour from Charles, the owner. It's been in his family for about 45 years, and just really cool. Unfortunately, he was not open today because it is a Sunday, but if he were, we would have definitely gotten some ice cream and some burgers here. So please stop by and check this place out. They also have the Route 66 cookies, which sound pretty good. Commerce. We asked him if there was a place to eat where we could grab some lunch since his shop was closed. He said there's nowhere to eat in Commerce. We would have to go 30 miles away. Which is kind of surprising. All right, here we are in Commerce, Oklahoma. really, really cool stop. We totally hit the jackpot meeting Charles Dubois, who owned the Dairy King. Not the Dairy Queen, the Dairy King. All right, here we go. We got Mickey Mantle's house, another interesting stop in Commerce. And this is the barn where he and his dad, I guess, used to practice. And they would use the barn as kind of like a backstop.
319 South Quincy Street is on the right.
I think so, yeah, all the dents. It sounded like they used it as a backstop.
Welcome to Kansas.
Another state. Just going through Kansas for a little bit. Oh, heavy rain, flash flooding possible. Great, sweet. We're in a good car for the flash floods. Mural. They really did do a lot of murals along Route 66, and like recently, I think they redid a lot of them. Yeah. If you see a subway, you want to stop. Oh, look, it's Dock. Texaco Station Dock. And a couple of little Lightning McQueens.
Take the next left onto West 5th Street, then turn left.
Oh, this is just to downtown Galena, so you can just...
Continue for 4 miles.
That's cool. Oh, yeah. The Palace jumps to the left. Oh, wait. What? What's it telling us to do? Right here. Yeah. Look at this Kansas sign up here. I think it's for... Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, we going through. Look at this sheriff thing up there, too. Luigi's Pit Stop. Fillmore. Man, they're really capitalizing on cars. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. We made it. Should we take a picture under Kansas sign?
After we left Commerce, we finally hit Kansas, the shortest stretch of the entire Mother Road, only 13 miles. And we stopped for a few quick pictures at the state line, and then we hit a ton of rain going into Missouri. We still had quite a ways to go to get to St. Louis before it got too late and too dark, but we had time for one little detour down an old broken stretch of Route 66 to the metal bridge at Devil's Elbow. Now, this bridge gets its unusual name from the extremely sharp U-shaped bend in the Big Piney River that it crosses. And it also just gives you a really good sense of this lush landscape here in the Ozarks.
Go, buddy.
More rain as we head into St. Louis. And actually, I didn't capture this on video, but a bunch of kids in a souped up Audi S4 tried to race us as we were going into St. Louis. Obviously, in those wet conditions and with my bald tires, I did not engage with them. But seeing the St. Louis Arch as we came in at night was really impressive and spectacular. We got to our hotel. It was already getting pretty late, but we pulled up and got checked in at the Pear Tree Inn.
Yeah, this is good. What do you say, 8 o'clock? Yeah. Most places close at 8 o'clock. All right, we'll see what we find down here. He said because there was a baseball game that there should be some food down by the ballpark. Oh, there's the arch. Oh, that's cool. Pretty much striking out on food this late in St. Louis. So if you want food, be sure to come earlier. Man, people are really excited for The Bachelor or whatever the hell they're watching. But they're very, very happy about this.
We started our final morning in St. Louis at the Pear Tree Inn, which has a really unique design. The first 4 floors are actually for parking, and the hotel kind of starts on the 5th floor. But what was weird was the breakfast setup. Check it out.
So what would be behind the breakfast thing but the swimming pool? and the jacuzzi indoors. This is awesome. I wish we would have had time to use this.
Then we were off to the main event, the Gateway Arch. This monument is way more impressive in person. It's an American engineering marvel, a symbol of the gateway to the West. We snagged an earlier than expected ticket on the tiny tram ride up, and the tram itself is an ingenious feat. It's kind of part escalator, part elevator, and part Ferris wheel, navigating that 630-foot curve up to the top.
They're already out. Wow.
The windows are tiny. The windows are
The floor is like totally arched.
The Arch has an absolutely beautiful underground museum. And that's where I found a powerful connection to my family's past, a reference to the Pittsburgh Des Moines Steel Company, which supplied the steel for the Arch. That's a place where my grandfather worked. He was a shipping clerk there, and this was a project that he was incredibly proud to have been a part of. It was a beautiful, full circle moment on this tribute drive. On the way out of St. Louis, we did a quick drive-by look at the massive Union Station, built to look like a French castle, kind of a reminder of the opulence of the rail era. But now it's converted into a landmark hotel and entertainment space. Our final stop on Route 66 was the Chain of Rocks Bridge, an old alignment way outside of the city. It's a beautifully aged steel structure known for its unusual 30-degree bend. It was an essential stop to cross the Mississippi one last time on the Mother Road. Now, the bridge is famous for two things: that abrupt 30-degree bend in the middle, which was put there to align the piers with the bedrock and to avoid the old water intake towers. Now, those intake towers themselves were a sight, like small little medieval castles perched in the middle of the river. And thanks to Gemini Live, we actually found out that they were designed to match a nearby castle-style filtration plant. The other thing was the Chain of Rocks Bridge was used in a famous movie, Escape from New York.
The new Chain of Rocks Bridge over here, and they are building another bridge to replace this one, which it looks like they're just starting on.
As we were leaving, we ran into another Porsche owner with a black 944, an exact match to the one that I had recently picked up. Same year and everything. It was awesome to meet her, and she was also doing a Route 66 road trip after heading home from the Porsche parade in Oklahoma City. I'd even seen this car earlier in the morning in downtown St. Louis, so it was such a coincidence to meet up again at the Chain of Rocks Bridge. From there, the Route 66 journey was officially done. Since our final destination wasn't Chicago, but Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to meet up with family, that meant that we had to take a detour. We were going to stay in Indianapolis tonight and then head on to Pittsburgh. But being a car enthusiast, I wanted to stop by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and try to check out the museum. Unfortunately, we arrived just a little bit too late, a casualty of our extended time at the Arch and the Chain of Rocks Bridge. But we went anyway and checked out what little we could see of the racetrack. It was still cool, and it was awesome to be there in such an iconic place for motorsports history.
Well, this is it. This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You can see the infield track a little bit here, and then obviously the banked oval that makes up the most of the track here. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, I didn't make it in time while the museum was open, but that's okay. I think I'll definitely be back here at some point in the future.
Downtown Indianapolis was buzzing with a great young kind of college town energy, and they were getting ready for the WNBA All-Star Game with huge ads for Caitlin Clark everywhere. It was really funny because when we arrived at the Fairfield Inn, the valet mentioned he doesn't usually see too many 911s here, but I assured him that we are Fairfieldian kind of people. We ended up going out for a great Italian dinner in downtown Indianapolis and then went for a little walk around the city in the evening. So Route 66 had brought us from the Pacific Ocean to the Mississippi River, and now it was time for the last leg, the highway that would take us to our family and meet up with them at the Pittsburgh airport.
We are in this parking garage in Indianapolis, and literally there are so many enormous trucks and so many of the same trucks. So I don't know what's going on here, but it's like there's all these white Chevy Z71s. There's like just like tons of them. Here, this is the truck lineup here. Wouldn't even know which one is yours or where you parked. Alright, so we just entered Ohio. We got off of Route 70 because there was a lot of construction and a ton of trucks, and decided to get on 40 for a little bit, just kind of for a change of scenery and change of pace. But man, yeah, lots of cornfields out here in Ohio. There were a lot of cornfields when we were in Indiana too, but now that we're on a kind of a 2-lane road, seems more significant. Yeah, also nicer. All right, here we are. This is day 7 of our drive. We left Indianapolis this morning, and we had to detour a little bit off of Route 66 because 66 goes to Chicago, as most people know. And we are not going to Chicago, we're going to Pittsburgh. So that meant we had to take a slightly different route, so we got on 70, and we're cutting across 3 states today. Finished out Indiana, just entered Ohio, and then we'll end in Pittsburgh, right across the border into Pennsylvania. So yeah, it's kind of our last day of driving, huh? Yeah, for a couple days. Yeah, it gets at about 5.5 hours of driving. And we do have to get there at a certain time because we need to pick up our families at the airport. And we will be picking them up in the Porsche 911. No, we're not. We will be picking up a minivan to get them and all of their stuff. And they are meeting us in Pennsylvania. So, yeah, another day of driving. Lots of farms. Lots of farms out here, growing lots of corn, it seems like, mostly. Although one guy said he was growing donuts. He had donuts for sale on his little farm stand. Yeah, some nice houses on these big pieces of property in Ohio. Alright, here we are. We're coming into Columbus, Ohio. We're not actually stopping in Columbus, but just kind of driving through on our way to Pittsburgh. Columbus, bigger downtown than I expected. Even though I'm from Ohio, I don't think I've ever been to Columbus. The 911 currently getting 34.6 miles per gallon. That's not quite our record. I think our record is 35.1, but actually it's a pretty good road trip car because you don't have to stop for fuel nearly as often as you would think in a car like this. I think we've been getting about 500 and something miles per tank, which is pretty good. Drew getting his stretches on for more driving, more sitting in the car. Little cornfield stretch.
Today was really a flat-out drive. We had a 340-mile race against the clock to meet our families who were flying in from San Francisco. The challenge was to cross 4 states by car: Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania in the same time that it took their plane to get from San Francisco to Pittsburgh and land at 4:20 p.m. One highlight of the drive came in Ohio, and that was State Route 22. Google Maps routed us onto this phenomenal winding road. And with Drew getting a little sleepy, it was my turn to drive, and the 911 felt perfect. Just quick and smooth and graceful through these bends. Even the bathroom rest stop along Route 22 was beautiful.
I mean, Motorcade coming. You want me to open my window?
Yes.
All right, man, we got the Trump Motorcade, I think, showing up here in Pittsburgh, causing a whole bunch of traffic. Total pain in the butt. But look at him, here he is in the Trump Mobile.
Is that him in the front?
Literally drove 3,100 miles and didn't hit traffic once. Now we're in Pittsburgh and we're hitting traffic. Most of it is due to Trump being in town, but there seems to be, we already saw him go past, so seems to be a lot of residual traffic here. But man, crazy that the rest of the country had no traffic. We didn't even see a single bad accident or anything. Maybe we just got lucky, I don't know. Dude, 3,100 miles, we made it. We made it to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that is at least the end of this part of the journey. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
It's a good trip.
Good trip, lots of adventures, good way to see see more of the country. Get out there and see the U.S. if you can. Car made it. Car was good. We're gonna get some new tires for it while we're here in Pittsburgh, at least some rears, but probably a full set. And yeah, thanks for watching. And we just met the owner who runs it as a Dairy King now, and he's been running that for 45 years. He was telling us all about this place. Really cool. Yeah. I got a little mini YouTube channel. It's not very big, but
I've had, well, I don't know if you ever heard of Random Land.
Random Land, no.
Justin Scared. He's been here a couple of times.
We came out.
A guy by the name of Adam Wu.
Okay.
And he's got about 500,000 subscribers.
Oh wow, those guys are big time.
Yeah, he's been, actually he was here. I mean, he was lived here when he was a little kid.
Oh wow.
Dad and Grandpa was a preacher here. Oh wow. And he's been here many times.
Sure, but pay homage to his.
Yeah, but Adam Random Land, his name is Justin Scared.
Okay.
And he was talking about, I was actually subscribed to his channel for years, even before he was ever here. Out in, where is it, California, Arizona, where those TP, talking about making Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh yeah, we wanted to go see that. There's like a memorial or something over there.
The only thing that they have about that is down here in front of our city hall.
Uh-huh.
About 4 blocks down the street on the right side. You'll go past where the junior high is, and it's just a block up. It's a 2-story building, and it has a thing out in front of it. It pretty much says the same thing that I gave you right there in that paper.
Okay.
But this picture right here, this hotel set over there where that metal building sits.
Okay, yeah.
Harry Truman lived in that hotel for a good bit. Yeah.
Really? Wow, that's cool.
Here back in 1916.
Okay.
Way before he was ever president. Yeah, he lived in that hotel. He lived in that room right there in the front.
We learned the book says that Mickey Mantle's from here too.
His mom and dad moved here whenever he was about 2 years old. He was born in a town called Spavinaw, which is about 60 miles south of here.
Okay.
But he lived here even way after he went to the Yankees. He lived here for 10 years after he went to the Yankees. He
Whoa.
stayed right here in Commerce.
That's amazing.
And he had a house built here in town. All of his sons were born whenever he got married, had this house built. Just a regular little
guy, huh?
house. Yeah, and he brought back guys like Billy Martin and Whitey Ford and Yogi Bear. They were here all the time.
Whoa. His buddies just hanging out.
They had a longer off season.
Oh yeah, then there's a lot more games now.
About 4 months, and plus they go to spring training a lot sooner.
That's true. Yep.
I think they go in February. They didn't go until way up in March. But the most famous ball player that I've ever met here. His name was Brett Saberhagen.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a pitcher for the Royals in '85. Well, he played for years. But him and George Brett won the World Series in '85.
Right.
The Royals.
Yeah.
And I met him. He came in here in probably been like 7 years ago.
Okay.
And
that's cool.
Yeah. And
what do you order?
he ordered a large cheeseburger basket.
Nice. All right.
And then he
cool.
sent all these guys in after because he said it was so good.
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it was. But he was here. They started selling. This family here bought it from the first family. This family opened it in January of '27.
Yeah.
So it was actually built in '26. And this picture, I think, is from around 1930.
Wow.
And this, but anyhow, they sold it to this family in about 1940. And it was just a regular. They changed it from this, which is a marathon, to a flying A, which is
flying A, yeah.
Right there.
Title.
Yep. Yeah.
And anyhow, he died in '57. And that's whenever his wife stopped selling gasoline and put in food. She didn't want to go out in the snow and rain pumping gas.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Make people come inside.
Well, he was a mechanic. He worked on cars, but also you had to go out and pump the gas. You didn't. It was all full service.
Yeah.
So you clean their windshield, and check their tires, and check their radiator and oil and all that crap. And if it was below zero or pouring down rain or 20, snowing or whatever, you out there pumping gas.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't want to do all that kind of stuff, and she's also not a mechanic, so she stopped selling gas and put in food, and she kept it until about '64. She sold it to a family, and that family had it about 16 years.
Okay.
And Mom and Dad bought it in '80, so we had it for 45 years.
45 years. Amazing. What a great place. What a great story too. All right, that was Route 66 when it was first paved there, huh?
Yeah, and you can see how it drops off. It's only about 8 feet wide. That's just gravel.
Yeah, so the parking was kind of gravel and the
Yeah.
road was paved.
And you can see that old truck right there. And this picture was taken from our window right there.
Oh, wow.
And this also shows what that looked like over across the street. There's that building that's there now.
Yeah.
And there is the original two-story right there.
That went out further.
And like I said, sometime like 37, something like that, all of our mines set out behind us. And you can see them in this picture right here. This is where we would be right now, right there.
Okay.
And all those back there in the back were mines, and they were out behind us. And when we were at the peak of the mining, it was about 36 mines back there.
Okay.
And anyhow, a mine truck comes from right behind us.
And just...
It may not have been going 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it'd be big and heavy.
Exactly. And in those days, the trucks they didn't have hydraulic brakes. They used mechanical brakes.
Oh, so it was the amount of pressure you put in, it's what pressure you got.
You got like a bicycle.
Yeah.
You could be standing if that brake was wet, or if it was out of adjustment a little bit, or something. You could be standing on that pedal, and it would not stop you.
Yeah. Wow.
And not only that, that lead is super heavy, and a ton of lead ore. We're probably overweighted as much as they could.
More than they should be carrying,
And
probably.
Like I said, he could have been standing on the pedal, and it would have never stopped him. But it wouldn't stop that truck.
Wow.
And it plowed right through the side of that, and it collapsed that two-story. And that one that was on the other end, you would think that they were together, but that was actually a separate building. They were up against each other.
Yeah.
But
separate structure, yeah.
I've seen pictures of it whenever that building, that two-story, wasn't there. So it was built maybe like a year or so later.
Okay.
But whenever it hit that building, it collapsed that one, but it left that one. And like I said, in 2004, it burnt, and they tore the rest of it down and opened all that. And what I actually think that was built for, as much as anything else, was to help hold that building up. Because that is actually a firewall.
Yeah, it would give it some more structure, right? Some more support.
It wasn't a support wall. Over here across the street, they went toward the front corner building down about a year and a half ago. Here's on this side.
Oh, on this side here. Yeah.
And you see they let that little boot stick out right there. They let that brick boot stick out.
That thing here at the end, yeah.
Metal cans.
Oh yeah.
And they stopped using the metal cans and went to the
Oh, because they needed the metal for other stuff, right?
And anyhow, we have some that are in better shape than this one, and then some that have a label just either barely hanging on or not at all.
I mean, that one's in pretty good shape.
Refilled these bottles, but that's actually still got oil in it.
Still got oil in it. Wow. Yeah, it's a little clumpy, but it's in there.